Welcome to the Light of Sirio podcast. My name is Dori Fari and I will speak with a realized spiritual master about his views on life and the topic of spirituality.
Om Namah Savan Savan Namo 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 Om Namah Kirpal Kirpal Namo Om Namah Kirpal Kirpal Namo Om Namah Jaibo Ajaibo Namo Om Namah Ajaibo Ajaibo Namo Om Namah Savan Savan Namo Om Namah Savan Savan Namo Om Namah Kirpal Kirpal Namo Om Namah Kirpal Kirpal Namo Om Namah Ajaibo Ajaibo Namo Om Namah Ajaibo Ajaibo Namo Om Namah Savan Savan Namo.
So now we arrive to the fourth episode of fourth season, and before we begin talking with Master Sirio, who is here with me again, as usually he is. So welcome, dear Master.
Thank you.
So before we begin this episode, I would like to mention the Daily Guidance Meditation podcast, which we have started. So if you're interested in trying meditation practice with Master Sirio, even from your home, you can do it daily, because there is a new episode published every single day, which is 5 a.m. morning of the Central European time. And you can find it on Spotify at the Daily Guidance Meditation Podcast. So, and if you also would like to try it in live, in presence, then next meditation program with Master Sirio will be in Amsterdam in July, mid-July, and then in mid-August in the San Bani Ashram. So if anybody is interested in participating in any of these programs, then you can reach out to me to the usual email address, which is the siriopodcast@gmail.com. And still, if you have questions for this season, which you would like to hear an explanation from Master Sirio, you're most welcome to send your questions and comments or whatever. And don't forget to check out the Daily Guidance Meditation Podcast with a new episode every day, because it's lots of work. So please listen to it. It does good to you, and I think it's very enjoyable. It's very nice and relaxing and full of amazing spiritual teachings. And for this episode, I thought to present a question to you which arrived from the United States, just a second, from Ellensburg, Washington, and this goes like this. A question I have on my mind is regarding the plant medicine, ayahuasca. I'm thinking about attending the ceremony. In your opinion, would this be against the 5 precepts? So before going deeper into this topic, then what are these 5 precepts? I was curious about it, so I just googled it, honestly, that to be exact. And the first target that came was the 5 precepts of Buddhism, and I see it's quite a general, like the general 5 precepts. So there is also somebody else who didn't exactly know it, so I read it to you now for clarification. So 1 is not killing, 2 not stealing, 3 not misusing sex, 4 not engaging in false speech, and 5 not indulging in intoxicants. So the explanation says refrains from consuming substances that cause heedlessness. So I think that the question was about this 5th precept in relation with this ayahuasca, which is, I don't know how to say, like very spread. It's not very spread, but it's used mainly in South America, but it's spread now in all around the world. They offer this ceremony of ayahuasca. Of course, those very authentic ones do happen in South America, and it's a ceremony like a spiritual trip, like an inner journey or something. So, Master, could you shed some light on it for us, please? What do you think about all this topic?
So in my attitude towards facts, things, I believe that one can talk about something after experiencing that something. I never experienced this ayahuasca, but I am 72 years old, and in these 72 years I've seen many fashions about the use of substances for a sort of sudden enlightenment. So when I was young, I was the hippie generation and was very much in use the LSD as a means for expanding consciousness, uplifting consciousness, seeing the reality from a different perspective. It was very easy, anybody could take it. You didn't need to be a holy person to have this kind of enlightenment. Anybody, a criminal, a good person, a honest person, a dishonest person, somebody with a weak mind, with a weak nerve system, somebody with a strong nerve system, it's any kind of people could take it. So consequently, according to what you were, you had a consequent type of experience.
Oh, I was just thinking about it. As you said, a criminal takes it, and then what do you have in your mind? What do you have in you? And then maybe it brings you bad experiences, very negative.
So in my understanding, what these substances do, they amplify what you are, your perception, according to what you are, by the way. So if you are a criminal, you become 10 times a criminal. If you are a devilish person, you become a full devil. That's what I believe. If you are a balanced person, then you can keep a balance in your experience. If you are a kind of a holy person, good, holy person, then you experience yourself as being much more holy than what you experience normally in your normal consciousness. So it depends on what you are. The substance just amplifies what you are, your perception. And your perception is very much motivated by what you are, by your thoughts, by your emotions, what you are used to experience in your daily life as a person. So that also, the effect that you get also depends very much on how you do it. In those years, people were very stupid, really. They were doing it in a crazy way, without any consideration of, without knowing, first of all, the effect that it would have on them. And so they would take it in situations which were not really conducive for such kind of experience. So many people really became schizophrenic. They somehow develop mental diseases of several kinds. And some of them even got to commit suicide because they couldn't stand the experience anymore, which was too much for them.
Yes, actually, I was just thinking that you said that this experience amplifies what one is. And I thought, oh wow, then you really have to like yourself to like the experience, because if you don't like yourself, then you 10 times don't like yourself, then there is no way out than just going out of this world. This is dangerous.
So I would say that for many people can be very problematic, for some people can be kind of helpful. But those kind of people for whom it can be helpful, they don't really need it, to my understanding.
That was another question which shaped in my head in the meantime. I was listening to you that you said a balanced person can have a balanced experience, and a holy person has a experience oneself as a really holy person. But I just thought, but then if you're balanced or if you're holy, then why do you need it? That was my question.
So I think people before taking it, they don't know what's going to happen, so they try it. So as I was saying, in my time, this LSD thing was very much in use, in fashion. There were people of this counterculture movement, so-called underground movement, who very much advocated and preached the use of this substance for expansion of consciousness. One of them was very much from the United States. It came, like so many fashions and things come from the United States, like Richard Alpert, who then became Ramdas, became then a follower of Ninkaroli Baba. Then there was Timothy Lear and many others, Oxley. Anyway, then later on in the 90s, 80s, 90s, came into fashion the use of peyote. There was Carlos Castaneda, who was a follower of, I think Juan was called his kind of Mexican guru, and from him we learned about the use of this other substance which was similar. LSD was the chemical production of the same substances that were in this peyote. They composed this peyote.
Because this peyote is fully a natural thing, isn't it?
It's a mushroom.
It's a mushroom.
Yes.
Because LSD, I'm not an expert of it, but it's a semi-synthetic. It's a man-made something.
As I said, it's a chemical reproduction of the same substances that compose the peyote. So that was another story, but the substance more or less is the same. It means the effect that you get more or less is the same. And then nowadays there is very much this ayahuasca in fashion. So there are these shamans from Brazil or other parts of the Amazon forest that propose the use of this substance as something for, again, for expansion of consciousness, for spiritual enlightenment of some sort. Let's say amplifying the spiritual perception. That's what it does. So I've known a number of people who have had this experience, have gone through this kind of ritual. There are shamans that come over to the Western world, like Europe, North America, and they bring this substance, which is it's a decoction made from a certain tree branch, liana, how they call it, I don't know, it's in English. So they make a decoction from this and then they drink it. And they have this kind of trip. It's a trip inside of yourself. So recently a friend of mine told me, yes, I tried it once. I had a bad experience. I went into my DNA and it was very problematic for me. It was not a good experience. Some other people have a good experience. Some other people, it's the same story always. According to what you are, you become amplified according to your substance, to your essence, to your person.
But isn't it like maybe not everybody does like this, but I briefly heard from somebody who of course he tried it. He went to Amazonia and he tried it there, this ceremony. But he spoke about the ceremony itself, that there is the shaman who leads it, because I don't know if so what's the difference then? People just take it, or they have to do it with a shaman? They have to have a guide who is controlling the process for them, or how does it work?
A guide is always very important. It's like on the spiritual path, a master is very important because he knows how to enhance your perception in the right way, to use stimulus so that you uplift your consciousness and have a good experience. So also I think in this kind of experience of ceremony, the quality of the guide or the shaman, call it how you like, the experienced man in the field, it's important because probably he has had this experience himself many times and he knows how to create, what to do in order to create a good effect, something that has a good effect on you and stimulate your, let's say, positive side of the mind so that you have a good experience. So yes, I think it's important to have a good guide, but how do you know if the person with whom you have this experience is a good guide? It's only when you go through it that you discover if he is a good guide or if it is not. Because if it is not, then he might push you into troubles. So anyway, so do I advise people to have this experience? As I said, for some people, it may be good. For most of the people, it's not good in my understanding. Because then you do it once, thinking that, okay, I have it once and then that's all. Well, then, after some time, since you're not able to reproduce a good experience by yourself through a spiritual practice, you go back again to it. So you take it twice, 3 times, by and by you become addicted to it. Because life becomes very miserable without that substance that provokes in you that kind of good experience, if you have a good experience. So like with all substances, by and by you become addicted to it. It can be marijuana, it can be hashish, it can be anything, cocaine. What do you become? An addicted, eventually. That's what I believe. So, better to provoke a spiritual experience through some other means. In most of the cases, there may be exceptions, because I know that every law has exceptions. So for some people may be good, they have it once, and then they are able to go on a spiritual quest and try to provoke that kind of upliftment through spiritual means and not through substances. So for most of the people, I think the best way is to find means, natural means that is not through substances, but through your own potential to provoke a spiritual experience. So initiation on a spiritual path is very much a way to provoke this spiritual experience. It's very much the way to open the gate of perception through a blessing that comes from master or from a lineage of masters or from the grace of God, put it the way you like. So in that way, then once you get this blessing, you can, through meditation, get deep inside and experience wonderful things, which won't be, let's say, in general, in most of the cases, it's very safe, because what you develop, and it's according to your capacity, according to where you stand in your spiritual evolution. So the grace that will be poured on you, it will be just according to the capacity that you have to experience it. It won't be more, it won't be less. Just what's good for you. Other ways of provoking spiritual perception, opening, let's say, the doors of perception, is through therapies, which is so much safer. So instead of going for substances, you go for a month panchakarma in India, and in an Ayurvedic clinic, and just undergo the process of cleansing of body and mind and nerve system and let's say neuroendocrinal nerve system, psyche, and so forth, in which you are really cleansed, and then your perceptions broadens, and you can have wonderful experiences without putting yourself in troubles, without exposing yourself to a situation which could be too much for you, and which will push you in psychological problems that may take years and years to heal from them or to get rid of them. So that's what is my advice. Instead of going for a ayahuasca ceremony, go for a 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month panchakarma therapy in a good clinic with experienced therapists, and then you will have wonderful experiences which will be so healthy and so good for you that will really enhance your perception, spiritual perception, and also make you physically healthy and improve your well-being in all possible ways.
Well, but it's much more time, much more efforts, no? Then you have to go there, you have to stay there. So it doesn't sound so easy, because in the sense, I just wanted to say that I just typed in the browser ayahuasca, first target that came, then buy ayahuasca discounted. So I mean, you can just click a button and order it, and they bring it to your house. And then, so I understand that for most people it's too tempting, isn't it?
Like the use of all drugs is tempting, and it's very easy. But easy way, they cost a lot, in my understanding. There is no easy way. There is no easy way to spiritual awakening. There is no easy way to spiritual enlightenment. There is no easy way to evolution of consciousness. It's a long process, and it takes a lot of efforts. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of work on yourself to improve yourself. There is no cheap way. Cheap ways are for the stupid people who are not able and do not want to change their life, to change their habits, improve themselves, and be better, good, excellent human beings. So there is no cheap way. Every opposite manifests its opposite. You want a cheap way, you get easily into troubles in the same way. As cheap is the substance, and easy, so easy you get into troubles.
Yes, while I was listening to you, it came into my mind that sometimes you give the examples from sports or doing sports or something, and then it's like one goes to the gym, no? to do bodybuilding, to make muscles, and then you begin to raise those weights which you're capable, that you can't go there and, I don't know, lift up, I don't know to say something like, okay, you don't go there and lift up 50 kilos just like this. Maybe you begin with 10, 20, whatever. But there is also the easy way that is very spread, and also in the 90s it was very spread to use the steroids, to inject steroids into your muscles to have bigger and more enduring muscles very quick. But it has lots of side effects, and so it sounds the same thing, that maybe things are used for something else in the world, like one thing, like steroids is used for the muscle, then these substances are used to have spiritual perception, but somehow we can call them different names, and ayahuasca, LSD, something, but it seems like the human always finds itself, or one always finds oneself in this kind of troublesome situation to make a choice, to go the rocky way, to do the hard way, or to go the easy way. But it seems like the easy way is, on the long run, it's much more difficult, because then you get an immediate result, but then you have to pay the consequences later. So it's maybe it's more understandable for the people like this, no? Like the same thing, like with the steroids or anything like this.
Yes.
But even medicines, no? Like when one gets sick, then right away you can take the antibiotics, or you can try to insist with the methods, natural methods, or milder methods to cure. And maybe you don't cure so quick, but then by insisting you can get better. Of course, sometimes you need. So it's not a good example.
No, it's a good example. First, you try with natural means. So also in this case, I would say, if a person tries, initiation on a spiritual path, meditation, and live a disciplined life for a period, and nothing happens, nothing works, then okay. If you want to go for an experience of this kind, you go. See what happens to you. We, in this case, I can say we have free will. It's not free will, but let's say it's free will. You can choose whether you want to have an experience of this kind or not. If after trying all possible things you want to go for a substance to help you amplify your perception, then try it. See what happens to you.
Well, something else came to my mind. I also somehow, I understood now. I was thinking, why I mentioned the medicines, and why I understood, because in the past year I met a couple of people who had mental problems, not very severe. I mean, it's a very strange phenomenon. And you also mentioned that like if people who are not mentally balanced take these substances, then they, in between quotation marks, they can freak out. They can go mad, they can get schizophrenia, and so on. And very interesting that many medicines, and especially these medicines which they use for the mental diseases, contain several substances which they take from plants, and or some are chemicals. And then when I talk to these people who had maybe like schizophrenia or bipolarity, problems like this, but I mean they could function in the world, they could do their work, they could have family, and like I mean like normal people. They just had a problem, which was a serious problem. And then there was always this argument of the medicines, because then, of course, then what the doctors do, that you have to take medicines, psychopharmacy. And then one girl said to me that I don't like to take it because I feel like repressed and I feel like not being myself. And I was thinking that these medicines also can become like an addiction, but it's very difficult to find a balance with these things, because I have seen in the case of some people who didn't take the medicine and they were like just mad, really, in the literal way of the word mad. And then the person was taken to hospital, was given the proper medication and everything, and then like another person, like a very nice, lovely person who went to work with the people and everything, and like you can't believe that, how is it? But then I have heard even from three people, that they had some kind of mental problems, and one of them got aware that she was getting like addicted with the medicines, that she really felt mentally the need that I have to take the medicine, otherwise I'm not normal. And she said, because she was doing a spiritual practice, and she said she didn't want to live like this, and she began to do very strong, well, of course she is very lucky because she got a very good spiritual guide, a very authentic person who is very, seems like, I don't know this person, but who seems like a very responsible and serious person, and he really was a good guide to her in this, like gave a personal mantra to her and really did a very good job that through lots of mantra repetition, breathing exercises, yoga exercises, because that kind of practice which this person does also includes more the physical yoga, asanas. But through these means, then she was able to put down these medicines. And so what do you think about this whole big story of this?
Well, I think that every person has his own story and his own destiny, his her own destiny, and with different people were different things. That's what I think. So as far as taking psychopharmacies, psychomedicines is concerned, I'm not very much in favor. I've been working in a mental hospital when I was young, and I know the effect that these medicines have on the people. They, of course, become completely addicted to them because otherwise, if you don't take them, their madness comes out again. But what is the case there? Either you are totally mad, or you take the medicines and you are addicted to the medicines in order to be able to live a, let's say, not normal, but acceptable life. So, everybody has his own story of life. But trying means, techniques, therapies, in order to solve the problems, even of these psychological kinds, I think is everybody must do before getting into the use of these substances. So in most of the cases, it can be solved really by going to good therapists, somebody that guides you into doing certain exercises, certain things which are effective, helpful, and they solve your problem. So first this, then if this doesn't work, then of course, the person will be compelled to go for medicines. That's what I've been seeing in this my many years of experience with many people who are trying to find a solution to the problem of existence.
So thank you very much, dear Master, to explaining all these things to us. I think it was very interesting. I hope it was interesting like this for everyone who listens to the podcast. And then if you like this episode, then you're most welcome to leave a comment underneath. And next episode, as always, comes after 2 weeks, and now we can enjoy a relaxing mantra sang by Master Sirio, and just try to listen to it, relax, and if you like it and if you want more of it, remember that you can always listen to the Daily Guidance Meditation podcast, where there is also mantra and guidance into meditation. And for any questions or whatever you would like to say, ask, then there is the siriopodcast@gmail.com. So God bless you all. Thank you, dear Master, for being here.
You're welcome. Om Namah Savana Savana Namo. 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 Om Namah Kirpal Kirpal Namo. Om Namah Kirpal Kirpal Namo. Om Namah Ajaibo Ajaibo Namo. Om Namah Ajaibo Ajaibo Namo. Om Namah Savana Savana Namo. Om Namah Savana Savana Namo. Om Namah Kirpal Kirpal Namo. Om Namah Kirpal Kirpal Namo. Om Namah Ajaibo Ajaibo Namo. Om Namah Ajaibo Ajaibo Namo. Om Namah Savana Savana Namo. Om Namah Savana Savana Namo. Om Namah Kirpal Kirpal Namo. Om Namah Kirpal Kirpal Namo. Om Namah Ajaibo Ajaibo Namo. Om Namah Ajaibo Ajaibo Namo. Om Namah Savana Savana Namo. Om Namah Savana Savana Namo. Om Namah Kirpal Kirpal Namo. Om Namah Kirpal Kirpal Namo. Om Namah Ajaibo Ajaibo Namo. Om Namah Ajaibo Ajaibo Namo. Om Namah Ajaibo Ajaibo Namo. Ajaibo Namo.